On April 14, 2014, US Airways tweeted, "At L or after. We welcome feedback, L. If your travel is complete, you can detail it here for review and follow-up," with a photo of a toy plane going into a woman's, you know what. This is the Museum of Twitter, the show where we talk about the most important tweets in the history of Twitter.com. The topic of aviation has been on a lot of people's minds recently due to tragedies and different minor accidents on runways, and so I figured I should do the most famous or infamous tweet from an airline of all time. There are a couple contenders, but in my heart, I knew I had to go with the time that US Airways accidentally replied to a customer with a photo of a toy plane going inside of a woman. There are social media screw-ups, and then there's this. When The Atlantic's Philip Bump blogged about it, he said that no corporate tweet will ever be worse than it, and I think he's 100% right. Some corporate tweets are insensitive, some are misguided, but there is no reason why this ever should have been tweeted. And it's just so insane. Because I guess on some level, you could imagine someone accidentally tweeting an adult image from a corporate account, not knowing where they were logged in, or accidentally attaching the wrong image. But the fact that US Airways tweeted it, and the adult image in question involved an airplane is just too much. And you have to wonder what Elle was thinking. She probably tweeted something like, "Hey US Airways, you lost my bag," and then got this photo in response. Little context, if you're young and US Airways does not sound familiar, that's because they merged with American Airlines in 2013 and officially stopped running service as US Airways around 2016. And so for better or worse, this will be their lasting social media legacy. They are not tweeting anymore. And one of the craziest things about this is that this image was up for like an hour. Ryan Broderick, who is a blogger who was working at BuzzFeed at the time, had a really great thread about how he discovered the image. To make a long story short, he was looking at it and he started like screaming at his computer, and people started coming around, including one of the editors, and there was like all around his desk like, what's going on? And so he ended up being the first one to blog about it, and other sites picked it up. And when it got all this attention, US Airways deleted it, and they tweeted this apology: "We apologize for an inappropriate image recently shared as a link in one of our responses. We removed the tweet and are investigating." Okay, but how does this happen? So their explanation, and I guess this makes some sense, I mean it makes more sense than anything else besides like deliberate sabotage, is that apparently someone tweeted at US Airways with that image, and someone on their social media team was flagging that image to get it taken down, and they must have accidentally copied and pasted it into the tweet responding to L. Which, you want to talk about a bad break at work. Some people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I pushed that button," and replied all to that email, and the guy who tweeted this is like, "Can't believe I pushed that button and put out this photo to every person who's on Twitter." But mercifully, a thing I didn't know until I was doing research today is that no one got fired for this incident. Which, honestly, good. For two reasons. One, whoever did it is never going to do it again. I'm sure that they will triple check anytime they copy and paste something from now until the rest of their life. And two, who among us hasn't thought that one thing was on our clipboard and another thing was? Like, literally every other day, I think I'm copying and pasting a link, and then when I hit paste, some random thing I copied like 3 hours ago pops up. Now, because the image is obscene and it's so out of left field, the main way that this gets referenced is people being like, "Wait, do you remember that time that US Airways accidentally tweeted that thing?" Like the great Ashley Feinberg says that she thinks about it roughly once a year. But a good joke reference I saw to it is when the New York Post posted about a woman who was sexually attracted to planes and wanted to marry a toy Boeing, Jordan Hill quote tweeted and said, "That explains that US Airways tweet from 8 years ago." Which, bravo, Jordan. By the way, Ryan Broderick actually sourced the origin of this photo, and it turns out it is from a German adult film, which I'm glad he looked that up because I really didn't want to have to reverse image search this. And I can just imagine a German air traffic controller just off screen saying, "Yes, you are clear for landing." No, I am not good at accents. Follow me for new tweet every day and consider subscribing at patreon.com/museum of Twitter. But more importantly than that, on February 22nd, I'm doing an 18-hour live stream with lots of guests, some giveaways, some donation incentives to raise money for the Trevor Project, which supports LGBTQ youth. Obviously, trans youth can really use a lot of help right now, so please tune in or at least donate. You can find all the information on my Twitter or my Blue Sky.